I'm one of the founding members of the Osprey Club. Originally when it was founded, it was called the Varsity Club. And when I became president, which I think I was the 5th president in 1987, I kind of asked everybody, why we call this the Varsity Club? How many letters do you have? You know, what sport did you get a letter in? And I said, we're none of us, you know, are athletes from here, and we didn't win any letters. We need to get a different name for this. So after a lot of discussion and everything, we came up with the word Osprey Club, and that was probably in about 1987. Originally when we started, we were like 5 or 6 members, and we just struggled to get people, 5 people at a meeting. We didn't have much of a membership, and you know, our main goal obviously was, you know, in our bylaws was to raise money for scholarships and capital type improvements. And our first endeavor was doing 4 new tennis courts. Back then we felt we could do a tennis court for $25,000. So we were out getting sponsors, and back then a big sponsor would be $5,000. But the tennis courts, one of them was named after Coca-Cola, another one after Key Buick, another one was after one of the banks, so forth. But it was a tough time raising $100,000. We had a lot of in-kind contributions. From there, we kind of went dormant for a while as to what we should do. My expertise was baseball. I had been very involved in baseball throughout the years in the community. I was, you know, regional director for a youth association and been president for some other associations. So we got involved in baseball. It was funny the way we got involved with it. We wanted to do the baseball, but everybody said, you know, what's it going to take to do baseball? We heard a figure of $50,000 it was going to take. Well, back in 86, 87, that was a lot of money for us to raise. But Doug Harmon, one of the original founders and who the baseball stadium is now named after, and myself and some others, we committed to the $50,000. We had a meeting with the president then, Curtis McRae, a little Italian restaurant over off of St. John's Bluff called Vinny's. And after a few glasses of wine and so forth, Doug Harmon called me Midget. He was the only one allowed to do that. He said, Midget, tell the doctor why you're here. I said, well, Dr. McRae, I said, the reason we're here is we want to start baseball. And what's it going to take to start baseball? He said, well, first of all, he said, it's going to take $50,000. He says, and when, I say you can start baseball, that's when we'll start. But first we need $50,000. And so Doug kind of nudged me. He says, Midget, tell him the rest of the story. I said, when do you want your check? So that was the first game of hardball. It was played at UNF. And from there we started baseball. Doug and I were on the original search committee for the coach. And obviously we had probably about 90 applicants. Some of them were current college coaches. One of them is still coach up in North Alabama. A couple of the local coaches, Terry Alexander. But of the committee of 7, we finally came up with Dusty as our main candidate. And as everybody knows, Dusty came aboard and spent the rest of his career here until his retirement a few years ago. But all in all, it's been between what we had to work with and what the school has to work with now, it's been night and day. Back then it was 4 sports, now there's about 17 or 18. Back then we had men and women's tennis and men and women's indoor track, and then we branched out to golf and then outdoor track, and then finally baseball and then basketball, soccer, etc. But to raise money the way we did, we had a 5-year period there that I pulled some data today, just happened to be looking through. In 5 years, our small group raised $722,000 in a 5-year period. Today, they've got development officers to do that. We were, back then, we were the development officers. It was what we had to do. So everything kind of worked out, to the best. But when you compare what they had to work with now and what we worked with, even to start baseball, it was just absolutely amazing. We had to fund the stadium ourselves, and we did a lot of that just by in-kind contributions from cement companies and builders and you know, capital campaigns. We had golf tournaments before they had the big golf tournament that they are having this Friday. We had small golf tournaments. We'd raise $15,000, $18,000. We had auctions. We had you know, just all types of ways to raise money. We had a reverse $5,000 draw type event. But it was through that and just the good people that are still involved with it today, Polavino, Dottie Dorian, Doug Harmer's now passed away, Roger Wiegman, just a bunch of us originals just have stayed with it. And other than Dottie, who went to school here, none of us have any other affiliation with this. You know, I've since had a grandson graduate from here, but prior to that, we had no connection with UNF. It was just a love of doing for UNF and for the community. But to see where it is today, with all the sports, all facilities, and the great job that all the coaches are doing, it's just been a dream of ours, and I'm just so proud to have been part of it.